Hello everyone, hello everyone. My man, welcome back. Hello, yeah, feels good to be back. It's not well. Not sure how good I feel today. Bit of a tough one. Yeah, obviously, I'll kind of wait to talk about it. What can we do first? I guess I haven't done the connections, I don't think. I probably just need to move my second monitor in. There we go. I have a new setup. Lovely plants in the background. Thank you. The only thing is that one, I need to remove this because it's casting a bit of a... It's very blue. And two, I have like a... It looks really good when I'm recording. Hold on, I'll just move it. I have a big plant in the corner now. Don't know. Can you see that on camera? I don't know. Yeah, you can see that, but it's a little dark. I need to fuck around with these lights a bit. Hold on. Oh, you know what? Fuck it. But yeah, it looks quite... It's now I look like sort of... I don't know, that I live where poison ivy does. So, you know. But it looks better, I think. How was your Mountain Blade holiday? I just played loads of Mountain Blade. I was just really hungover on Sunday, so... Have I been listening to anything? Been listening to the Smiths' John Peel sessions. Need a little more brightness. Okay. How's that? Too bright or... Because I got new lights. I think that does actually look better with a bit more brightness. I don't know. Do you know RM Brown? He's very funny. We see it. I don't know RM Brown, no. I made a video earlier, actually. I've made a YouTube video which will be out tonight, but it definitely looks a lot better. Yeah, I can pin the Discord link. Hold on. Yeah, I'll just wait until... Hold on, I'll say I'm live. I'll just post that I'm live on YouTube. Oh, sorry, on Instagram. Wait, no. I'm just getting Rise of Kingdoms adverts, just doing free advertising for them, learning about... I don't even know what the game is about, but whatever it's about, I'm learning. I'm sitting my ass down. Hello everyone, I am currently live on YouTube. I'm going to be talking about the execution, the assassination of the Palestinian journalist Anas al-Sharif, Trump deploying the National Guard, and some other news that happened over the weekend. So if you want to come in, say hi, the link's here. You just also got a bit of me recording that, so I hope you enjoy. I'll talk about Anas al-Sharif once people come in, because I'll just wait until people join, but... I saw RM Brown on the Majority Report, and my takeaway is he vapes too much. Oh god, I can't watch people. My vaping addiction. I love vaping. I always have. They're too sweet. Violante, thank you for becoming a member. The lighting does need tweaks, and I'll learn how to do it, and I might get another, but it definitely does look a lot better. It's just the shadow that's being cast back there that I'm kind of not the happiest with, but I can fix that at some point. I'm waiting to start a Patreon. I will start a Patreon, don't worry, that is coming. You are unmuted. Thank you, Fluffy Dog, for the very important information. I didn't know I was unmuted. But yeah, the next upgrades for the setup is... I think I need a better camera. Although I don't have a shit one, I might just get an even better one. It looks a lot better with the lighting, to be fair. The plants all need individual spotlights. Yeah, they do. It just... Obviously, the wall behind me is very not straight, so it kind of takes away from that a bit, especially with, like, having more in the background. And eventually I'll move the record player, and maybe I'll put something in the background. But it's kind of just getting some stuff. And then now I need to do the big computer, which I would actually say that I would do tonight. But I've made a YouTube video about al-Sharif. I made a TikTok as well, which we can watch maybe, but... I just thought I'd make a YouTube video, which is just sort of about him, Israel's campaign to assassinate journalists, and it's not the most detailed video, it's not scripted, it's literally just me talking, and I thought people might enjoy that, but yeah. I'll quickly do the connections and see if I can do them, just to pass the time whilst we wait for people to join. God, already I'm struggling. Oh, I've just hit my microphone, but I've not muted it, so that's good. I still can't believe he was killed. I know, neither can I. I think probably this hit me harder than Hossam Shabbat. I was on a call last night when it happened, like talking to my girlfriend, and it just was hard to even talk after that. Like, it hit me harder because Anas is someone I've been watching for so long. I've watched Anas, pretty much since October the 7th. He's someone I've trusted, someone I've gone to, looked up to, and yeah, he was killed, and it's really sad. It's brutal. It's a barbaric crime. And it's done for one exclusive reason. And if you notice why Anas al-Sharif was very, very, very important. And so were all of them. Because one of the things they helped you to know was like what was actually happening in Gaza. Like he was reporting about the food and stuff. And yeah. Right. Maroon 5. Something else 5. I'll talk about it shortly. Well, the claims that pro-Israel accounts are saying that he was Hamas. This was Hamas. I talked about this in my video. I think Anas al-Sharif, like Adnan al-Bursh, many others, had sympathy with Hamas. I genuinely think they do. And I don't think that I see a problem with that. I genuinely don't see, like, why the fuck are you sat here, like, going, I can't believe these people have sympathies with Hamas. Ultimately, like, they might not even agree with Hamas's political program, but what they do agree with is, well, what they do clearly agree with is the fact that, Hamas is like armed resistance against the Israeli occupation, and you know what, like, I don't see why he deserved to die because of that. I don't think it affected his reporting. I think he reported the reality of it, I think that's the truth of it. Let's see your smarts when I'm struggling. Every single day it's hundreds of human beings being murdered. It's beyond comprehension. It is definitely, and I think that that's one of the things, like I'm worried that some people will be like, why are you only talking about Anas al-Sharif? Why are you only doing this? And it's like, because there's so many human beings and people aren't just numbers, there's so much more. Hello, Sophie. Do we accept solutions to the puzzle in chat? Well, I'll try at least do it first. God, I did the Wordlin 3 earlier, which was impressive. But this I'm struggling with. Count, measure, weight, volume. Is it those? They're all like measures of things. Yeah. Specs on consumer packaging. I thought his reporting was fair. His reporting was definitely fair, but the truth is even if the Hamas links were real, that's not why he was killed. Also, he was arrested by Israel, which is something I'm going to add to my video. I just need to note that down. Sorry. He was arrested by Israel at the Shifa raid and then released. And if he really was a Hamas terrorist, why would they release him? Like, and I don't think you should give much weight to those claims. They're made by people who lie constantly. You're right. Plain vanilla, normal, standard. Yeah, it's all like boring. Maroon 5. Strand dump dessert. Maroon, it's those. And then it's Matter Horse Ages Chocolate. I don't know why it's those. Dark. Oh, right, there we go. You can see my Wordle as well, because I'm impressed with my Wordle. Years, stump, south. Very good by me. I'm a young talent when it comes to the Wordle. But, right, I guess before we get into the Anas al-Sharif stuff, there's a fucking crazy Sky News video that I kind of want to watch, that I had a tweet do, like, okay about. Sorry, as soon as I opened Twitter, funny tweet. Up the Raboo-boo. Up the Ra, Nigel! I've accidentally just tried to upgrade to X Premium. Hell yeah, I always be upgrading to X Premium. And just a tweet as well that I liked by Louis Allday. Israel equals indefinite genocide against the people of the region it's temporarily implanted in. It cannot exist without continuing down this path, which it has always been on. And it was only once it's defeated and dismantled as an entity that day can't come soon enough. Yeah, I tend to agree with him. The reason that Israel is this way is because all right-wing projects rely on, like, others. And Israel is one that has, like, it's fragmented. It's a collection of, like, Jewish people from all over the world that don't actually share all that many links. And so in order to keep it together, what do? You find an other to blame for the society's ills. Because, like, you know, there are many problems in Israeli society that extend beyond the Palestinians. But, yeah. No, I don't say roll chair. I just say chair. Sorry, right, we'll just watch this. This video is fucking insane.
Wow. Jenny Mizrahi lost
Jenny Mizrahi. Interesting name.
her son Eliran last June. His childhood bedroom now a shrine. He took his own life.
This should be illegal. She's basically made a shrine to a Nazi here. They should look into this. I wouldn't do that.
After receiving an order to return to Gaza.
This is the vest that he put on himself in Gaza. You see, there is sand from Gaza and dust from Gaza.
He'd served 187 days as a reservist since October the 7th. Here he is discussing the trauma of war with one of his comrades.
It's really unbelievable. Like, so far we're getting a bit of a sad video, but let's just get into a bit further. Because this guy's trauma, you actually won't believe it, is just like, basically crushing Palestinians to death. That's like genuinely his trauma.
We came back. We didn't think we'd come back, but we survived. And now we don't know how to deal with the fact that we returned. That's the problem.
Israel is seeing a
I didn't even fucking notice the Punisher battle. I mean, this report is genuinely one of the most insane that I have ever seen.
wave of soldiers like Elian taking their own.
By the way, if any of you want to, like, set up a clips channel and, like, edit stuff from my stream, you can message me about it.
Lives. 5 died by suicide just last month. Elian's mother says her son returned from Gaza a changed man.
Probably because you saw, like, the reason he came back a changed man is because ultimately Zionism sells this vision of, like, complete strength and, like, that what you're doing is justified and moral. But then when you actually go do it, you start to have a bit of a reckoning with it because it's this genre called shooting and crying. Tom Segev, Waltz with Bashir. Sorry, there's a very funny quote. There's a film called Waltz with Bashir, which some of you have seen. I've watched it. It's got good music in it. It has Enola Gay by Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark, which I like as a song. Clip Industrial Complex. Well, I'd hope that people would do that, but if someone wants to, like, run a channel more, like, closer with me, I mean, people can do that. Already shout out to Silent Scythe for making fucking fan edits of me. The film Waltz with Bashir belongs to the Kvatch genre of oi, how traumatic that massacre in Sabra and Shatila was for us. The Jewish agency is afraid that the tender soul of the American Jewry might be hurt by the film, and therefore it is offering them psychological relief on the internet. It is not clear what the agency sees as the main problem. Is it the psychological difficulty of remaining pro-Israel after watching the film? Or is it that viewers will not remain pro-Israel? Basically, because what this film is about, and by the way, the film fucking obfuscates the link, but it's about what they did in fucking Sabra and Shatila.
He never left Gaza in his mind.
He never. Oh, I see. Actually, you know what? She makes a really strong. She makes a really, really strong point. The actual reason that he never left Gaza was because, you know, he wanted to get back to massacring and destroying people's homes. But this video delves into insanity.
And when he came back, he couldn't go back to work. He was a great father,
I'm sorry, any little genocidal monster like this is no father.
Father with a lot of passion, and he lost his passion for his children.
Do you think she mean he started hitting his kids? I mean, possibly.
For people, he was very silent. He didn't sleep at night. He had nightmares, but of course we didn't know anything about.
This belongs to of that exact genre of, oi, how traumatic it is for us Israelis when we have to go and kill Palestinians.
He didn't spoke. When you spoke with him, he said everything is okay.
All right, gentlemen, I want you to repeat.
Okay, I need to skip this, but because it's got copyrighted music in.
Eliran operated a D9 bulldozer in Gaza and used to post TikTok videos.
It's insane! Eliran operated a D9 bulldozer and used to make TikToks, and they just say this normally. Like, they're not like, you know, this is really
Actions were
deranged.
part of systematic destruction by Israel. The UN says has damaged or destroyed over 90% of Gaza's homes.
Like, in any normal report, would you not be like, do you think that it was because what your son was doing was, like, barbaric and criminal? Like, do you think about that at all? Thank you, Zeb, for becoming a member. But, like, surely you would think that there would be some hard-hitting journalism done here, like, you know, pushing this mother to say, like, yeah, you know, destroying this stuff is, like, wrong, right? Like, this is wrong, right?
Human rights experts warn this could be a war.
Oh, yeah, they get paid, I think it's $1,500, not $5,000 per house. And they also just pay obscene money for it.
Eliran was pulled out of Gaza after he was injured in an attack.
He was literally sad because the resistance blew him up whilst he was destroying their homes. Bro, fuck him. He deserves more suffering. It's insane. It's insane that this video exists. Like, I've wanted to talk about this video, but it is like genuinely, I'm losing my mind here. This video is unbelievable.
On his vehicle. He was later diagnosed with post-traumatic stress. We don't know the cause of his trauma.
The cause of his trauma was getting blown up and not being allowed to go and ruin more people's homes.
But in the end, he couldn't live with it.
Do you think he felt differently to what we see in the videos about what he was doing and what he was seeing?
Maybe. I want to tell you that we, the Jewish people...
Hello from DC under military control. Where should we message you to be a clip channel? I mean, Sophie, if you're willing to do it, just contact me via my email, which is, I think you contacted me once before. I need to get better at checking that email. I think also, I guess it's kind of the thing about, like, white supremacy and all of this shit. Also, thank you, Sophie. I think it's kind of the thing about all of this shit, you know. Like, in many ways, is this a blessing? Like, yeah, of course it's a blessing in terms of, like, you have so many privileges, like, over other people's. And so I'm not querying the term white privilege, but all I'm saying is, like, this shit is not a privilege when this is ingrained in you to go and do, and it leaves you with PTSD and all fucked up like this, fucked up weirdos who, you know, no one has any sympathy for. Bro, this is fucked. Like, this is fucked, and this is why people need to abandon Zionism. Like, who is this good for? Apart from, like, the people who benefit from, like, a slightly better status quo. They're destroying, like, their own people get destroyed from this. And it runs so counter to the vision that they have of, like, this strong, macho, super amazing Israel. And you look at this reality and it's just like, why are you fucking doing this?
We are not teaching our...
They are just laundering his reputation and pretending he regrets what he did. He doesn't. He regrets the injury he got, a response to his actions, not his actions. I mean, even then... even then, like, what I would say on this topic of, like, you know, saying, of saying that he regrets his actions. They're not even doing that. I think that this would have made for a more interesting interview, like asking his mother, do you think what he did was wrong? But I don't think they do that.
Children.
Welcome back to the dictatorship.
To kill. What he saw over there in Gaza make him injured his soul. You see all the bodies over there and all the blood. It's hurt your soul.
That bit is insane as well. You see all the baddies over there and they hurt your soul. Like sorry? He was crushing people with a D9 bulldozer. Like, these people, it's crazy. Like, is it any wonder there's a mental health epidemic in Israel when, like, the only way that they have to rationalise this is, yeah, even then, this was Hamas's fault, you know? Even then, actually, yeah, Hamas did this to my son because they were evil baddies. It's crazy.
The Israeli parliament held a hearing.
Thank you, Tony Soprano Lover. Tony Soprano Lover just told me that my stream looks very crisp now, so they're in my good books. They're in my good books.
On soldier mental health as a result of Eliran's suicide. This evidence is from his D9 partner.
We've been through 4 months that I can't describe to you at all. We've run over so many dead and living terrorists.
Listen to this! Listen to this! We've been through 4 months that we can't describe. We've run over dead and living terrorists. Bro, those are not terrorists. Those are literally just Palestinians.
In the hundreds. Things you can't imagine in your brain.
Everyone's loving the plants. Yeah, I just figured I needed some shit in the background, and I think plants kind of helps for now. And the 2 better lights, I think, help as well. So, like, yeah, I think it looks a lot better.
Everything squirts out at me.
Israeli media is reporting at least 18 soldiers have taken their own lives so far this year.
Sue!
And more reservists are quietly refusing to turn up for duty. The Israeli Defense Forces say supporting its service members is a top priority, and it invests significant resources in doing so, including deploying mental health officers in all military units. Tuli Flint was one of these officers, sent to offer psychological support to troops in Gaza.
When you hear your government and your commanders.
But the reason that there are so many soldiers, by the way, killing themselves is because they just don't recognise PTSD, like, at all. You know, look, here you go as well. This is my friend Rami's piece on it. The suffering of Israeli soldiers continues beyond their military service. Facebook groups such as Stories from Lebanon, What Happened at the Outpost, and Yom Kippur War were born from a desperate need for Israelis to share stories of their PTSD. These groups have over 45,000 members and reveal the trauma and ongoing suffering that the military produces. In 2020, a Freedom of Information request revealed that 5,192 of Israel's Defense Forces disabled veterans have been recognized as suffering from PTSD as a result of their military service. There was almost 600 cases between Operation Protective Edge and the end of 2019. In reality, these statistics remain inaccurate, much like the data on suicides, as figures could be much higher. Military trauma results in full-blown disorders that paralyze an individual with a spillover impact on society. I mean, she's literally talking about it, like how he couldn't look after his kids anymore. Like, it's just like... like, this is the thing. And I think that maybe, like, sometimes, I think that maybe this is like a field of, perhaps if someone wished to work in this, I think I can see why my friend wrote like this. Because, in a sense, it's kind of saying, like, hey, your fucking, like, macho idea of, like, we're so strong, we're making a glorious future, is just farcical. It's just farcical because it requires just mass killing. And yeah, killing innocent people does as well. Why do you think the Americans were so fucking broken after Vietnam? Because they were mass killing innocent people. That's literally it. That's why. Because they were mass killing civilians and, like, sexually abusing them. That's why they were so fucked up.
Telling things that are not true. You start thinking, are they lying to me also?
Tuli returned from Gaza last year and refused to go back.
When you hear your prime minister lying about things that you saw in Gaza, things that you did.
Like what?
People talk about torching houses. People talk about a deadline, a really, not a metaphor, a deadline that whenever people will cross, they will be killed, no matter if...
By the way, did you know that Lonabox had an Israeli terrorist who had done this? An Israeli terrorist who had been involved in this onto his stream to lie about it happening. He had him on and let him speak for like 25 minutes about how, yeah, actually we don't do that, like it's a bit of an exaggeration. So yeah, there's a little factoid for you. Ethan Klein's approved pro-Palestinian. He allowed that.
there are children, women, or anything like that.
And are soldiers seeing images of starvation? Are they seeing people starving?
They see people starving, and they see also the chaos.
The mental and moral burden on soldiers could
It's actually crazy as well, because this report is genuinely unbelievable.
be about to grow, despite strong objections from the IDF's chief.
No, it's almost interesting that Zionists think anyone cares about IOF PTSD. Exactly. And I think it's worth discussing. It's just like, hey, like, literally, your society doesn't give a fuck about you. It sends you in to go genocide Palestinians. You get wounded, and there's nothing. You spend your life suffering for just what? So you could go and kill other people and ruin their lives. Utterly ridiculous, and your government abandons you because it doesn't care about you. It's not some magical project for Jews. It is a settler colony based on exterminating the Palestinian people for like this wider farcical future realization of some amazing future that's just not coming because the prerequisite of it is just mass extermination. It's a lack of humanity towards their own citizens. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Of staff, Israel is expanding military operations.
When calling the Hamas-run health ministry. Was he really lamenting that they'd refused to, had stopped calling it the,
with plans to take control of the entire Gaza Strip.
Unbelievable. Genuinely, some of the most... It's literally called the IDF soldier who took his own life. Like, what is this? Like, what is this? Like, oh, man gets upset from doing genocide and then left to die by his government. Just ridiculous. Is overseeing their country's infrastructure. Yeah. I mean, also, like, just by the way, like, look at the BBC. It's run by people. It's like benevolent to a government that is aiding and abetting a genocide that does nothing about Israel, that does nothing about what Israel does. Right, so let's move on to Anas al-Sharif. East Eye. I can't show that. Sorry, I'm just looking up because I want to get all the colleagues, all of his colleagues up.
Hani Mahmoud is on the first.
Right, so this is Al Jazeera, so I'd rather go to them or Middle East Eye. I doubt that many people will have sympathy for those 18 people or any that follow. Yeah, I just think it's... At least he grew a moral view, condemning it and speaking out. Yeah, I guess... Man realizes he is the monster. Yeah, I mean... Al Jazeera journalist Anas al-Sharif has been killed alongside 4 colleagues in a targeted attack on a tent housing journalists in Gaza City. The attack late on Sunday on the tent located outside the main gate of Gaza City's Al-Shifa hospital also killed Al Jazeera correspondent Mohammed Koraike and camera operators Ibrahim Zahar, Mohammed Nouafal and Mo'aman Aliwa. Freelance reporter Mohammed Al-Khalidi was also among those killed. Shortly before being killed, Anas al-Sharif, a well-known 28-year-old Al Jazeera Arabic correspondent who had reported extensively from northern Gaza, wrote on X that Israel had launched an intense concentrated bombardment, also known as fire belts, on the eastern and southern parts of Gaza City. In his last video, the loud booms of Israel's intensive missile bombing can be heard in the background as the dark sky is lit in a flash of orange. It's just apocalyptic. And then I think the most important thing to do to begin this is just to read out his statement. Because it's beautiful. It's beautifully written. This is my will and final message. If these words reach you, you know that Israel has succeeded in killing me and silencing my voice. First, peace be upon you and Allah's mercy and blessings. Allah knows I gave every effort and all my strength to be a support and a voice for my people. Ever since I opened my eyes to life in the alleys and streets of the Jabalia refugee camp, my hope was that Allah would extend my life so I could return with my family and loved ones to our original town of occupied Ascalon, Al-Majdal. But Allah's will came first, and his decree is final. I have lived through pain in all its details, tasted suffering and loss many times, yet I never once hesitated to convey my truth as it is, without distortion or falsification, so that Allah may bear witness against those who stayed silent, those who accepted our killing, those who choked our breath, and whose hearts were unmoved by the scattered remains of our children and women, doing nothing to stop the massacre that our people have faced for more than a year and a half. I entrust you with Palestine, the jewel in the crown of the Muslim world, the heartbeat of every person in this world, every free person in this world. I entrust you with its people, with its wronged and innocent children who never had the time to dream or live in safety and peace. Their bodies were pure. Their pure bodies were crushed under thousands of tons of Israeli bombs and missiles, torn apart and scattered across the walls. I urge you not to let the chains silence you, nor borders restrain you. Be bridges toward the liberation of the land and its people, until the sun of dignity and freedom rises over our stolen homeland. I entrust you to take care of my family. I entrust you with my beloved daughter Sham, the light of my eyes, whom I never got the chance to watch grow up as I had dreamed. I entrust you with my dear son Salah, whom I had wished to support and accompany through life until he grew strong enough to carry my burden and continue the mission. I entrust you with my beloved mother, whose blessed prayers brought me to where I am, whose supplications were my fortress and whose light guided my path. I pray that Allah grants her strength and rewards her on my behalf with the best of rewards. I also entrust you with my lifelong companion, my beloved wife, Salah Bayan. Did I miss a bit? No, I did. From whom the war separated me for many long days and months. Yet she remained faithful to our bond, steadfast as the trunk of an olive tree that does not bend, patient, trusting in Allah, and carrying the responsibility in my absence with all her strength and faith. I urge you to stand by them to be their support. After Allah Almighty, if I die steadfast upon my principles. I testify before Allah that I am content with his decree, certain of meeting him and assured that what is with Allah is better and everlasting. O Allah, accept me among the martyrs, forgive my past and future sins, and make my blood a light that illuminates the path of freedom for my people and my family. Forgive me if I have fallen short and pray for me with mercy, for I kept my promise and never changed or betrayed it. Do not forget Gaza, and do not forget me in your sincere prayers for forgiveness and acceptance. Anas Jamal al-Sharif. This is what our beloved Anas requested to be published upon his martyrdom. It's really sad. It's really sad. And I mean, he knew he was going to die. He was stalked by death because these people justified it. Because these people tried to get him murdered. These people published over and over again that Anas al-Sharif was a Hamas terrorist who deserved everything. That he was associated with Sinwar. That he was an undercover Hamas operative. And it's just so farcical. So ridiculous. You know, and I think that just like ultimately, it's part of this wider genocidal strategy to exterminate the Palestinian people as a whole. That's all it is. There's nothing more to it. What it represents is the Zionist project's attempt to carry out its genocide in the darkness. And I truly don't believe that any sacrifice that has been made since October the 7th is in any capacity in vain or a waste. I do believe that Palestine will be free, because I think so many people have woken up to what Israel is and they know exactly what it is, and Israel can never, ever, ever fix that image. Like, it just can't. It cannot fix the pathetic and wicked image that it has. Its prime minister is a wanted criminal. It is currently perpetrating, undeniably, 2 crimes against humanity. It is perpetrating genocide, ethnic cleansing, and apartheid. It was perpetrating ethnic cleansing, genocide, and apartheid prior to October the 7th. And I kind of spoke about this in my video. Like, people still bear in mind that Hamas is like this barbaric, backwards, savage terrorist organization whose evil and barbarity extends so far beyond Israel's. But anyone who knows what Israel is and sees it knows that that's propaganda. Israel is a genocidal settler colony. That is all it is. It is all it can ever be and all it ever will be. Israel is a settler colony that has no interest in the Palestinian people living a life, living any kind of meaningful life. All it cares about is exterminating them, removing them from their homeland and destroying them. Their propaganda makes this so obvious. Listening to Israelis speak, they say that the Palestinians never existed, and this is what they want you to believe. They want you to believe that the Palestinians are all evil invaders. Their archaeology tries to erase the thousands of years. Their historiography does the same. They want to be rid of the thousands of years of contributions to Palestinians in that society, but they never will. Someone like Anas al-Sharif, even after all these smears, is more popular than any Israeli could ever be, because people see through Zionism. Even these hostages that get pushed up by, like, you know, international organizations, by Western governments who are like, look, you must all be like, oh, everyone should feel sorry for them. The outpouring of emotion does not even compare to what people feel for Anas al-Sharif, because they know what he was. He was a brave, brave hero, and he was part of the resistance, in a sense. Anas al-Sharif was part of the resistance, because Anas al-Sharif, by picking up a camera, fought against Israel. He spat in their face. And Bild called him a terrorist. I know. And like, but ultimately, this is what these people believe. I mentioned this in my video, like, just by tangentially being associated with Hamas, because so many here are fooled into this idea that Hamas are like barbaric savages of a different level. As I say, there is no war crime that you can accuse Hamas of that Israel hasn't committed. Human shields, Israel committed that. Torture, Israel commits that on a far grander scale. And in fact, the way Israel takes human shields is so much more, like, accurate to how one would understand what you mean when you talk about human shields. Like, when you talk about the fact that, like, you imagine a human shield as someone, like, pointing a gun to someone's head and saying, go in front of me so I don't get harmed. And that's what Israel does. And I think that this is the hard truth. Anyone who knows and understands the region beyond ridiculous, perverse understandings, to, like, Holocaust level denialism, to try and justify, you know, to try and justify the unjustifiable distortions of the Holocaust we're talking about here. But yeah, it is perv that they ask one to suffer 1,200 but spit on 62,000 dead, over 17,000 dead children. Of course, it is perverse that they ask you, and they have, like, their little hostage marches, and they're like, everyone's forgotten about the hostages, and it's like, our government still mentions them in the same breath as what Israel is doing now. You are feeding the Israeli propaganda. There is no comparison between the two. These people who still feel the need to talk about October the 7th constantly, it is like this bizarre cult where if you don't say, oh, I condemn it enough, you're like a barbaric savage, but you can literally go out wearing an IOF t-shirt. When you go to a march in London, they fly the Israeli military's flag. That is a military weaponizing starvation, engaged in mass killing of civilians, mass torture, mass sexual assault, mass violence. You can endorse and support that. But God forbid someone once upon a time took photos with Hamas, you know? Like, just God forbid. Smiling and laughter is part of the resistance as well as picking up a camera to... Of course, existing within Palestine is Existing within Palestine is resistance. By the very virtue of being a Palestinian who remains in the homeland, you are someone who works against the Zionist project. Because the ultimate goal of Zionism is the entire destruction of the Palestinian people as a people, their removal from their historic homeland, so as to replace them with Jewish settlers, the erasure of their history, so you can just say, well, they live here fine, but they don't live there as Palestinians. Israel wants them to no longer have a nationality, to be degraded to the point where they don't believe that they have any right to live in their historic homeland with self-determination and dignity. And that is what Israel and the Zionist project wants. That is what anyone who offers any sympathy for the Zionist project gives them. That is what the goal, the explicit goal of this project is. There are no two ways about it. Zionism is a barbaric, genocidal ideology that has always been addicted to violence as the means to bring Jewish people together from disparate places. The Israeli boat was never sailing to Gaza. The Israeli boat was sailing to the maritime border with Gaza to protest the release of the hostages. To protest their government not releasing the hostages. One thing that always pisses me off is how people will refer to Netanyahu as the democratically elected leader of Israel, but then seem to conveniently leave out how Hamas was democratically elected. I mean, it's just because this whole democracy shit plays so well into Orientalism. I actually just bought a book about this called by Fawaz Gerges, which is like his new book about it, which I'm about to read. Hamas said they would disband on 10/10 if Israel stopped the siege of Gaza and allowed the Palestinian coalition to govern themselves. Repeatedly said no. Oh, I mean, it's like Yasser Arafat. Hamas would have never come to power if Yasser Arafat had been allowed to hold an election in 2000. Bill Clinton and I believe Yitzhak Shamir denied Yasser Arafat to hold an election in the early 2000s. He would have, and the reason they did that is because Israel did not want a united Palestine. What Israel fears most is a united Palestinian people who are together in their resistance against the mechanisms of Israeli oppression and extermination. And the reason that I don't actually know, his name's Fawaz Gerges. It's called What Really Went Wrong. The test of... I haven't finished it, but it was reviewed well by someone called Elham Fakro, whose papers I like. So, Shamir, it was Yitzhak Shamir, it wasn't Rabin. But I mean, even Rabin... This was the 5th of October, 1995. 5 years and 10 days before I even was born. And also just a year before al-Sharif was even born. We would like this to be an entity which is less than a state, which will independently run the lives of Palestinians under its authority. The borders of the state of Israel during the permanent solution will be beyond the lines which existed before the Six-Day War. We will not return to the 4th June 1967 lines. This is just this is the best peacemaker that Israel ever had. His statement, Palestinians won't have a state. We will never return to our previous borders. It's crazy. It's crazy. Like, this is what he said. This isn't like some fiction in my head. This is the most peace-loving Zionist after the best accords that apparently it was the Palestinians who rejected. The Palestinians believed wholeheartedly that they would get a state. And initially, Yasser Arafat was collaborating with them on that basis. Yasser Arafat collaborated with Israel. Yasser Arafat said Israel had a right to exist. He said he denounced armed struggle. And this is what they got in return. Fucking nothing. Because Israel is not interested in peace. It is interested in never-ending violence and genocide so as to move towards the establishment of an Israeli state over all the land of historic Palestine. Like that's just it.
You don't.
And sorry, I just want to play this because Ethan Klein has today not mentioned al-Sharif, and today he's just tweeting about he's not tweeting, he's just posting about Anna Kasparin, just a new person that he hates. Like, this guy is insane. Like, I hate Zionist propagandists, but I don't spend all day doing this, like, every day.
You don't want anyone to resist against genocide. It is a fucking untenable position.
Oh, you mean kidnapping civilians?
No
You're
sense.
so pathetic, bro. Please.
And you constantly keep smearing me as a fucking anti-Semite at a time when
today.
the Trump administration, at a time when the Trump administration is blackbagging people.
Yeah, that's bad happening. Don't call me out. That's bad happening. Don't call me out. That's what you're doing.
Dude, how do you not
didn't you watch the Bad Empanada video?
That you are playing a formative role when you don't talk about Mahmoud Khalil?
Just remember, everybody watching.
Role when you don't talk about the mass starvation of Gaza.
By the way, I advocated for Kamala to get elected. What'd you do? I told people to vote for Kamala. What'd you do?
Oh.
No, seriously. What'd you do?
Ethan.
Just on this topic, are you surprised that they've done this? I'm not, because the other thing that I have to say about this is that the Biden administration allowed police to go into the land, to go into universities. They allowed this to happen categorically. This was something that they let happen. Like, it's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. And all this man does on a day where a Palestinian journalist, in fact, has he even, on a day when the most prominent Palestinian journalist is assassinated, all he is doing is just this. Like, all he is doing is just posting about Anna Kasparin. He will not have posted about it. And if he has, I would be genuinely shocked because he hadn't hours before. What the fuck is with this lady? He's talking about, like, post about her son.
Democrats,
post about her son. Anna Kasparin. How can I be racist? I have black friends.
Says, oh, yeah.
Post about Cenk. He hasn't even bothered to mention because he doesn't care about the Palestinians. And this is someone who just, like, unequivocally defends himself. Anas is gone and Ethan is still here. It's just like, I mean, we live in a time of ever worsening authoritarianism. And I just want to say, like, you want proof that Kamala wouldn't have done anything? And some people said, no, like, this is not a fair comparison to make. This is not, like, a fair comparison to make about, like, talking about, like, the UK government. Yeah, the UK government is not powerful at all. The UK government is not powerful. But at the same time, we ostensibly have left-wingers elected. And you expect of left-wingers to basically go in and make changes. To make changes to improve society and make things better. Our government has done nothing of the sort in the UK. They have not stood up to Israel and its genocide in any capacity. Oh, what? They're recognising a Palestinian state conditioned on Israel behaving in a certain way. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. And like today, the UK government is just concerned by the killing of journalists. All these people who hide behind Kamala Harris are monsters. And like, by the way, like on this topic of journalists being killed, like our media is allowed to repeat verbatim Israeli narratives and like talk about shit like, oh, actually they might not be journalists. Salam az Ingelistan. Khola shoma khube mark bi. Tehran kheli qashang ast. Kheli qashang. Kheli zibo ast. It's such a stupid talking point because it's not like there's a party that would actually have stopped the genocide anyway. I mean, Corbyn in the UK would have probably, if Corbyn had stood in the previous election, might have been more interested in not having the power to stop the genocide, but pushing Europe in a direction towards doing it, you know? Like a direction towards actually doing this kind of stuff. UEFA can eat my ass. Yeah, Mohamed Salah actually did something pro-Palestine for once. But I just wanted to talk about this. After October the 7th, a team called the Legitimacy Unit was established in Amman. I don't know if they mean Jordan by that. Amman is the capital of Jordan, but that's not how you spell Amman. Is that a place in Israel? It's the Israeli military intelligence. It's like, so the Israeli military intelligence established this thing. Filed charges against their own students because the brave kids shared flyers calling out teachers of them working for pro-Israel organisations. I mean, yeah, that's what they do. Golam. Pesar Golam, what does that mean? Pesar Golam. Faramush kardeyam ke Pesar Golam ast. Bebakhshid. Farziyam yek kami bad ast chunke man zaman baraye farzi emruze naduram. Do you think your party will succeed? I mean, there's very fertile ground for succeeding. In a way, has Boris benefit from Ethan's mounting brain? He is a distraction from the genocide, and there is no defending genocide anyway, so might as well obsess over other content creators. Yeah, I mean, I think that Ethan is actually also someone who has, like, basically just become an Israeli propagandist, like, genuinely, like, the talks he does, the platforming of Loner Box, Ahmed Fuad al-Khatib. Like, no doubt, Ahmed Fuad al-Khatib would have been posting today about why it was cool to kill Anas al-Sharif. He's done it previously. Yeah, like, literally, this is the cunt that Ethan had on his show. This cunt. This piece of shit. This guy is a fucking... the words that belong for this man are insane. The Nazi pro-Hamas and fraudulent pro-terror brigades presenting as pro-Palestine journalists and activists have unleashed their complete misinformation and post-truth apparatus to claim that somehow a tweet of mine from six months ago in which I criticised actions by Anas al-Sharif and Al Jazeera, who was killed today by an Israeli strike, is somehow equivalent to me having blood on my hands, and that Israel has used that to target al-Sharif. However, this development constitutes a new chapter in the... Like, literally, listen to this. He's tweeting about this. He's tweeting about this, like, this is what this guy is posting about the day Anas al-Sharif. Where's he even said, like, he doesn't even condemn it. Like, this is what this guy is. Al Jazeera, claiming that he celebrated October the 7th and had deep corrections. But what I do know is that the context of his killing is deeply troubling and highly problematic. It is part of an established trend. Oh, wow, he's done this. Worse Anas was killed. But, like, this guy fed into it. He fed into the shit. He fed into this shit. Worse Anas was killed right after the announcement of Israel's intention, almost as if to signify that the Israeli government and the military do not want to broadcast what to take place. This is deeply problematic and indicative of an attempt to suppress inconvenient information coming out of Gaza. Like, what is this? What is this? You're now saying that you hate it. You are now saying that you hate it and you're upset by it when you posted that previously. You posted previously that, like, oh, yeah. And you're calling and you're referring to people as the Nazi Hamas post-truth order? Like, what the fuck? Like, this is what this guy does. Like, he claims that... attempted to provoke a security incident. This is from February 10th.
Okay. He does it again. I'm taking.
This is what this guy does. This is what this guy does. This is who Ethan Klein thinks is like a good moderate voice to have on his show. Like, I'm sorry, when people say that like what Ethan does is just benign, this is a guy who he brings on his show. Ahmed Fuad al-Khatib. That's the kind of person he considers a reasonable voice whilst demonizing just about everybody. Like, this is sick. This is sick. And, like, Anas al-Sharif was clearly a loving man who actually lived in Gaza and cared about, you know, making a better future, making a better life for people in Palestine. Whereas that bold fraud, Ahmed Fraudiola, Ahmad Fraudman, and he looks like the slug woman. He looks like Roz from Monsters, Inc. This is the motherfucker who Ethan Klein considers like a good voice to be having on his podcast. The only good thing is, I think we reached a point here, even the most normie libs can point out how insane pro-Israel people sound. But the problem is still a lot of normie libs just aren't hard enough. Because, like, by the way, have no sympathy with Zionism. Zionism is a genocidal, despicable ideology that should not be given an inch. Because it is like Nazism, in the sense that it is a form of identity politics that places certain people as supreme over others on the basis of their ethnicity. Like, that is literally, like... yeah. And by the way, he lived in Gaza for 5 years. That's all he does. What bothers me about is that it still implies that had Anas been connected to Hamas, however tangentially it justifies his killing, it wouldn't. By this absurd logic, all former IOF journalists working for New York Times and Wall Street Journal are fair military targets. Maybe Anas was once trained by Hamas. Maybe. But the UN dismissed these links. And even if he was, I just don't think it justifies their killing. Because you're talking there about killing every... do people think that the killing of Lee Rigby, like his just execution in the street, was like justified and like moral because he was once a British soldier? I think he was he even wearing uniform that day? If you don't know who Lee Rigby was, he was beheaded by like 2 extremist guys because he was a British soldier, and they did it to bring attention to ongoing atrocities, maybe in, I'm not actually sure where, but he was like murdered, and it was, you know, they beheaded this guy in public. It was very, very fucked. But like, at the same time, these people are legitimizing that kind of thing, and they act like they're so different. When you look at what was done to these bodies, how is it less barbaric to blow someone's body, desecrate it completely, than it is to cut off their head? Because sometimes the bomb does that. And these people justify it. And these people live in such a sick world. And this is why I think it is so important to address this narrative that what Hamas engaged in is like a barbaric evil that does not compare to Israel. Because it doesn't compare to Israel, but it's not because it's like barbaric. It's because violence is violence, and engaging in crimes against humanity. Like, Hamas never denied Israelis anesthetics so they could, you know, go through amputations and stuff, you know? They don't see Hamas as human being. Oh, it's this whole point. I might make a video about this, but someone else is coming out with a big video about something similar. I have an essay called Hamas and the Nazis, or no, Palestinians and the Nazis. The reason that Palestinians are compared to the Nazis is to make them a dehumanized entity worthy of death. And like everything that they stand for is worthy of death, because people see Nazis as like this ambiguous evil. And some might say, well, you compare Israel to the Nazis, but I don't view Nazism as like just this like ambiguous amorphous evil that's just evil because they were the Nazis. I view the Nazis as barbaric because of the politics that they actually engaged in. An extremist form of identity politics, which was premised on the idea that Jews, Slavs, you know, any ethnicity was racially inferior to the German people, and therefore they needed to be removed from the gene pool in the case of Jewish people because they were even seen as parasitic. And that kind of like extremity, you know, like, I'm sorry, it's just like you seeing it manifest again. The older generation will promote Korbani and the men to slaughter cattle/goats with their own hands so they get used to the motion. Why I don't know why you posted that. I don't think it helps anyone to hold the Nazis in some... No, it doesn't at all. I added a tweet of Ahmed accusing Anas of helping Hamas to the stream suggestions on Discord. Oh, thank you. Hold on, I'll just quickly do this. I can't find the stream suggestions. Oh, I can. Oh, we just looked at that. We looked at that already.
Mexican, and I see racism.
There's someone posting about irrefutable evidence. We saw that tweet already, but yeah, I mean, the guy justified his death. The guy played... Look, even if he wasn't directly responsible for his killing, he still played a role in it. Israel, unironically, completing the Nazis' end of Jews. Maybe a bad take, and kind of like America is completing the USSR end of Americans. Well, the thing is I don't think it is completing the end of Jewish people. There are so many Jewish people who are of conscience who like, you know, do reject what the Zionists are doing in their name, and they do reject this political project of Jewish supremacy and identify much more with a liberationary struggle to bring Palestinian people and to join with Palestinian people in the movement towards liberation. It's just, and I think that for me, it's just like it's just like listening to this stuff about like how Anas deserved to die is just so barbaric. Because he was just, yeah, I mean, I just want to put on a video of him and his daughter.
ترامب بقول بده يطلعنا من غزة، أنت بدك تطلع من غزة؟
لا طبعا في غزة.
بدك تضلك
I meant that the way you behead an animal for sacrifice is essentially the same way you behead a person in reference to the British soldier. Interesting. Sweden and Netherlands trying to do it too. Germans... Orientalism enables the dehumanization of anything slightly Arabic. To the average Westerner, all Arabs are long-bearded Islamists living in desert mountains. Oh, but don't also forget that, like, the something I wrote a lot about in my dissertation, something I wrote a lot about was, like, the inverse of this is the fact that, like, nothing isn't dialectical in this world. And that Orientalism is dialectical in the sense of, by virtue of portraying a Palestinian and Arab as a barbaric savage, you portray yourself as civilized. The kind of violence that you inflict on people is acceptable, it is moral, it is justified, and it is amazing.
غزة ليش؟
عشان بحب غزة.
أنت بتحب غزة.
And yes, if you want to read an essay about like the interaction between Jewish people who survived the Holocaust and the early Zionists, Adam Schatz's "We Are Conquerors," which is a review of of Tom Segev's "State at Any Cost," is very good. I've never read a "State at Any Cost." I really do want to read that at some point.
يعني بدكيش تطلعي؟ طيب بدي أسافرك على قطر.
ولا قطر.
على الأردن.
لا.
على مصر.
لا.
على تركيا.
لا.
على أي دولة؟
أنا تضل في هذه.
بدك تضلك هنا في غزة؟ يعني مش طالعة؟
بس طالعة من المرة.
مش طالعة نهائيا؟ بالمرة؟ طيب قولي لهم إحنا مش طالعين.
إحنا بس طالعين.
صامدين هان.
صامدين هان.
يا روحي.
It's just such a sad video. It's just like it's just such a sad sorry, I'm just trying to find something. It's just such a sad video, you know. Like, his child's just now left without a father, so what? Like, Israel could do more genocide and maybe kill her. Like, he's just like, I have to listen about why, like, yeah, you know, Israel's just immoral when these are the people that it's killing. It's just barbaric. Orientalism is an interesting comment because of this. He didn't create it. He didn't create it. It's just sad, you know. This is just sad, and this is just what it's also just so sad that, you know, you leave a family without their kid, you leave a family without their father. Look. It is. It's fucking heartbreaking barbarism. Like so many killed in Gaza. That's a father, that's a friend, that's a nephew, that's a son, that's an uncle, that's a grandparent. These are people's lives being torn apart by a genocidal settler colony. Like, literally, that is what this is. That's why I think No Other Land, and when people were sort of slandering No Other Land, that I sort of had a problem with it, because I don't think many people had actually interacted with the film, because they were like, oh, it tries to, like, because Yuval Abraham gave a pretty shitty speech. Like, yeah, fair enough, Yuval Abraham did give a shitty speech, but at the same time, what No Other Land actually was like a look into the sort of day-to-day existence of Palestinians and how their lives are torn apart by settler colonialism in the West Bank, and how communities like Masafa Yatta are torn to pieces, are ruined by what Israel does. You know, and I think that, like, for that reason, it's a very hard watch. Like, it made me cry, and I don't often cry at films. It's It's really, really sad, you know. It's really sad. And then even then, you know, like just this week, a guy, the settler, Yinon Levy, murders Alda Hathalin, murders him in cold blood and is just back out. Like, he just shoots him. Like, he's just back out in public because he's Jewish and he killed a Palestinian. Like, that's it. Like, that's just okay. Like, you know, it's just barbarism. It's just barbarism, and this is just the world that we exist in. I just want to see if I can find any fucking, like, discussions of him on Western media and just show you how barbaric it really is.
Yolanda, bring in our colleague Yolanda Nell, who is in Jerusalem for us. The accusation from Israel is that
Hamas's accusation on October the 7th is that actually they were all Israeli soldiers or had always served in the Israeli military, so, you know, killing them, it's okay.
al-Sharif had a dual role. He was both, in their words, journalist and terrorist. Have you seen, Yolanda, as the BBC seen?
I don't have anything special planned for 50k subs, no.
Or heard any credible evidence that he was participating in the hostilities or acting beyond his role as a journalist?
So the Israeli military basically refers to a trove of documents. It says it's
a trove of documents. Thank you, Yolanda Nell, for reinforcing this.
Uncovered during its operations in the Gaza Strip. They refer to documents where he is supposed to be on the payroll of Hamas, basically. There are a few snapshots of spreadsheets that were put out for journalists to look at, but we're not in any way able to verify them. They show his name on a list where it's supposed to be a phone directory for Hamas operatives in the Jabalia area. Another one where he's on a list of people who were injured as operatives in the year 2023.
By the way, this is also one of the insanest parts. If he was injured as an operative, which is what Israel's propaganda actually claims, it claims that he's injured, right? Mohammed Sheadeh spoke about this. If he was injured, why the fuck would you kill him? Because he was useless to Hamas. Genuinely, once you're injured and wounded, like, what use are you to Hamas? You can't fight, you can't do anything. So, like, what the fuck? Like, you know, what are you supposed to do that? Like, you know, like, sorry, like, oh, apparently he's now directing rocket attacks against Israel. It's like, why do you even give any weight to this shit?
The BBC understands that prior to the war, al-Sharif was working in the Hamas media office, but that is all that we know about him. And important to emphasise too that no evidence.
Asrael, indeed, I tend to agree with you about that much. Thank you for the donation.
This has been given despite inquiries for the other journalists who were with him. So this is an entire.
So this also means that, like, even if this was true, they killed 4 other journalists with him, and that's just like, okay, like, ending 4 people's lives who were who had families. Like, it's just insane. This is their propaganda. And in my video, I kind of, like, talk about it a bit, but I actually don't go in depth because what is the point of giving weight to shit like this?
Higher Al Jazeera team who has now been eliminated from Gaza City just at the moment when the Israeli military is being told to prepare for an operation there. We have the Prime Minister talking with domestic criticism, with international criticism about this expansion of the military offensive in Gaza, with you know, Gaza City first on the list of places said to be a Hamas stronghold that will be fully captured by the Israeli military in the weeks ahead.
Yeah.
The IOF assassinated him. Now the BBC assassinates his character. 100% correct. Like, by the way, here's a UN expert 10 days ago denouncing this. Deep concern that without any evidence to back its claims, the Israeli army has repeatedly accused Anas al-Sharif and other Palestinian journalists of being terrorists or supporters of Hamas. On the one hand, Israel refuses to allow any international journalists, and on the other, it ruthlessly smears, threatens, obstructs, targets and kills the few local journalists remaining as the eyes to the outside world of the ongoing genocide. Like, what? This is someone else on BBC.
Let me read you the statement from the British government, which has come out in the last hour. Gravely concerned by the killing of Al Jazeera journalists and other media in Gaza. Number 10 says Israel should
I mean, the reason that they act like Hamas isn't the government of the Gaza Strip is just because they're like, then it's just a justifiable way to say they're barbaric and evil. They're barbaric, evil savages who don't have governments even. They're just barbaric terror organisations who control everything to do terror. If they wrote his name on a scrap of paper to claim it was, oh God, like I mean, Israel, like anyone who believes this genocidal settler colony that lies about anything and everything is a brainwashed.
Sure, journalists can work safely and report without fear. And they've called for an independent investigation. But we've had investigations before, and there is impunity for this kind of thing.
Well, we should remember that not in a single case of a Palestinian journalist being killed by Israel has anybody...
And this is also, I think, a very important thing to note, because... And this the reason for this is because, look, Israel is never going to investigate itself. If you're still sat here and you're still going like, oh, Israel just needs to investigate, we're deeply concerned. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Utterly ridiculous.
Ever been held to account.
The calendar. There is a list. There is a list.
For October the 7th, after October the 7th. So talk is cheap. Actually, action needs to be taken, and actions speak louder than words.
He's right. He's categorically correct.
Has directed Palestinian journalists for the last 22 months. There's a pattern here of unsubstantiated allegations that not only delegitimize the individual, they undermine trust in journalism. And that's very dangerous for all of us.
Would you expect a criminal to investigate himself? Yeah. You know, Ethan Klein investigated himself after saying the N-word the other day and found out that there was nothing of the sort going on there.
Also, can't forget in all this.
And this is just the other news we have going on.
You also can't forget in all this that Israel is living with pure evil next door. The leadership of Hamas.
Literally, just listen to this. Just listen to this. The Orientalism is meant to erase any barbarism that Israel is engaged in because Israel lives next to pure evil. Israel is okay in doing whatever it wants because, you know, they're like evil savages. Pure evil, in fact.
Has said that on any opportunity it will attack Israel, it will kill the Jewish people. And so there has to be a solution that means getting rid of Hamas. The question is how severe that is for the quote-unquote regular Gazans, regular Palestinians that are living there.
These people are like, this is an okay thing to say. Imagine I said there has to be a solution for, you know, the Jewish people, for the state of Israel, and the quote-unquote regular Jews that are living there. You'd think that that was like a Nazi statement. Like, you'd literally be, that would probably get the show taken off air. You would literally be quote-unquote regular Palestinians. And here he is, you know, this is the guy, Benjamin Butterworth at the Bring Them Home rally. That's what I care about, bringing the hostages home. Goodbye, Sufi. Thank you for coming and thank you for your contributions. It's the state of Israel. Yeah, I mean, mass starving and denying people basic medical care, denying them food is far more barbaric than anything Hamas ever do. What was that noise? I don't know. He's allowed to go to like a pro. Like, there's literally just another pro-genocide march in London this weekend. Like, listen to this counter-protest. This guy's insane, by the way.
IDF and the Mossad. So I'm really interested by what you're wearing. So can you tell me a bit about this flag you're holding, and the cap, please?
I'm a Christian Zionist.
And what about your cap? It says "Make America Great Again." What's the significance there?
I was born a Trump supporter. When I came out of my mother's womb, I was a Trump supporter. That it's in my DNA.
You see the recent Batslim report about calling what's...
Yeah, maybe it was the Mossad agent in my ears coughing, the one that's in my head.
going on in Palestine a genocide? And if not, what are your thoughts on that?
It's not genocide. This is
the curious Hasbara of Benjamin Butterworth. Genius, Pokraj.
what's happening. Fake
Pokraj? Roy.
news is the new money-making organization in the West. Fake news. People reporting lies.
We've seen Netanyahu has said that he denies that there's starvation going on in Gaza, but the UN and other international organizations have said otherwise. What do you think about that?
My love, what's your name again?
My name's Ava.
Ava.
Ava's lovely. She's a very nice lady.
You're a woman. I'm not going to lie to you. The UN is a terrorist organization. Now, Eva, go home and look at the statistics of the UN since its formation. That's the only thing they've...
By the way, actually, around its formation, the UN was a terrorist. Douglas MacArthur, UN. Douglas MacArthur, when they were bombing Korea, they talk about this on Blowback. UN Korea. He was like using the UN in So Douglas MacArthur, who was like the general who wanted to nuke Korea, was the United Nations, as the head of the United Nations command in the Korean War. So maybe he's not actually wrong there. There might be a kernel of truth in what this odd character is saying. I've seen this guy as well, by the way. Like, I've seen him in person. It's powerful.
Achieve.
As a woman, why is it more important for me to know that information?
Because if I listen, a man is a warfare. A woman owns the world.
A man is a warfare. A woman owns the world. Wow, who said that?
Me? If I have this world, I'll give it to women.
Just to finally confirm.
Oh God, bro is definitely a creep.
We've seen, reports in the BBC. We've seen reports in many channels across the UK. You're saying that all of this is propaganda.
BBC is an Islamic terrorist sewage pipe. I'm telling you. What's your name again?
My name's Ava.
Ava.
It's so funny as well that like the material reality is that like you can see what the BBC is like, that it is just incredibly pro-Israel, and he's calling it an Islamic terrorist sewage pipe. These people are crazy.
I'm telling you now. Look, I don't like to women because my.
Oh God, this guy's a creep, bro. This guy's a creep, bro.
My job. When I see a woman, I don't like to her.
So what do you think about the Israeli government? Do you think they just want the hostages back, or what do you think their intention is in Gaza?
Let me tell you something. God bless Benjamin Netanyahu and his Likud and the IDF and the Mossad.
What a guy. What a guy. I'm just trying to see if there's any... This was their march in favour of genocide this weekend. Just filled with old people and a few dots of some young Israelis. And also, what the fuck? There definitely weren't that many people there. Is that Benjamin Butterworth there? The curious... I'm just looking to see what they're... Yeah, there's also fuck all people here, because this is a small street, and look how few are marching. Ava did take advantage of this poor feminist man, you know.
Bring them home! Bring them home! Bring them home! Bring them home!
Oh yeah, I don't know if any of you saw this, but like, hold on, let me see if I can find it.
Heartbreaking. It's unnecessary.
Jesus Christ, they got the kid doing pro-Israel propaganda
And
now.
it's infuriating. We agree. Free Palestine. But let's be honest. To free Palestine, you have to free it from Hamas.
He's reading a script as well. Imagine writing this for your kids. UN itself admits... Where's this from? Intercepted. Where's this from? UN 270. UN 2720. Monitoring and tracking dashboard. So the UN actually does say 2,816 are either hungry people or forcefully by armed actors during the transit in Gaza. But by the way, if you actually just look into that, the people who are intercepting it are literally just the are like Israeli-backed Israeli-backed gangs led by Yasser Abu Shabab. Even the Washington Post reported on this. Hold on. Sky News, even that you've just watched doing pro-Israel propaganda. Gangs looting Gaza aid operate in areas under Israeli control. You can literally read Yasser Abu Shabab. The internal memo obtained by the Post identified Yasser Abu Shabab as the main guy, an outfit of about 100 thugs. He got to write an article in Western outlets. He's a guy backed by Israel. Don't even joke about calling CPS, bro. Ethan Klein is gonna arrest me.
And who's actually fighting to...
And who's actually fighting? Sorry, seeing the lack of coverage from NBC on the murder of colleagues. Yeah, I mean, it is shocking seeing not all journalists outraged. But again, this Hamas propaganda has infiltrated. We've got kids lying and condoning genocide before GTA 6.
Destroy Hamas. Funny how the people screaming free...
Oh, don't worry, guys. They've got his child to read off a script and put on this weird, like, little heart emoji.
Palestine gets silent when someone actually tries. What's happening?
I really wanted to find this one about, like, flags.
Her dad has lost full custody, meaning that he can no longer hold us back from our true beliefs, which are...
I'm a conservative kid. Of course I get bullied in school. Epstein take... Bro, making your kids talk about Epstein is crazy. Like, how old is this kid? Oh, this is it. This is the one I want to watch.
This is my flag.
I'm a liberal sheep, and this is my flag. Wait, no, this is my flag. Wait, hold on, no, this is actually my flag. Wait, no, actually, this is gonna be my flag. Wait, actually, no, that's my flag right there. No, that's my...
Bro, that's the old Iranian flag! That's the old Iranian flag, right? That's not the Iranian flag. That's the Shah's... That's the Shah's flag. That is actually what libs use. I just wanted to watch this one clip because that is literally... That is literally it. And yeah, they did make the emoji into the real thing. His future employer is probably AIPAC. Oh, bro. I mean, this is just sick. People will call Chris too young to know about the Middle East, but little to this infant. You can only have one flag. Hell yeah, I only got one flag. And it's the former flag of the Shah of Iran. They couldn't even get this video. This is your flag, lil bro. Israel. Right-wing grooming at its finest. What a sad page. That one's just... I won't read that one. Holy cult laughing my ass off. Using your kids to project your political agenda is fucking sad. It is fucking sad.
Flag.
Also, why is it so badly edited? I do want to see what they got to say on the Epstein.
It's one thing that all
They set up a fake podcast as well.
Americans can agree on. We want the Epstein files.
The current employer is probably AIPAC. I think you might be right. This is the future Atlantic Council fellow you're talking about here, guys. Yeah, if you don't want to be smeared, Ahmad Fraudmad Al-Khattab is gonna be is gonna be getting you in a lot of trouble for bad mouthing this young kid.
Released.
Epstein. First up is we have a lawsuit for the Epstein records, and we haven't gotten one record under FOIA yet. I don't understand it. I don't know what's happening at the Justice Department and the FBI that they haven't gotten around to giving us the records yet. They admit they're reviewing them, yet not one document's been released. Really unacceptable. His name shows up in the Epstein files, generally according to reports, which is about as surprising as the sun rising.
It's frustrating. We want these creeps exposed for doing these terrible things. They're probably hiding it. People on both sides of the parties are probably in it.
Wacko stuff might happen. Both parties want the Epstein files released. Maybe there's not actually a list. Maybe there's Epstein files, but maybe it's not of the people that actually went.
By the way, there probably isn't a list. As True and On speak about this, they know a lot more about Jeffy Epi than I do. I don't know all that much about Jeffy Epi. I'm learning. Brace Belden and Liz Franchak are teaching me. Have me on the show, guys. Have me on True and On for an episode. I'll call in. But yeah, like, I mean, it's just crazy. Like, what is this? Like, getting your kids, like, to just talk about the Epstein files. Like, bro, what? Epstein was maybe arrested. Like, when Epstein was arrested, these kids were probably like 4.
Into the party. If there is nothing important on the files, just release the files.
It's one thing that all Americans can agree on. We want the Epstein files.
Look how many cuts there are as well, because they don't know what they're saying.
Released.
Epstein.
Mr. President, have you ever gone to the Epstein Island?
I never had the privilege of going to his island. And I did turn it down, but a lot of people in Palm Beach were invited to his island.
Did he say privilege?
Mr. President, have you
I owe my followers, my community.
I'm not watching any more of this. It's hard to resist. It's hard to resist, but because these, I'm learning. God, I'm just looking at these marches. When it gets to here in like the pro-Palestine protests, there are so many people here. But also, by the way, the average age of these protests must be about 2,000. They must be about 2,000 years old. Ain't they the sit down to pee Republican kids? I have no idea about the sit down to pee aspect of this. I just want to see if there's much.
Starts with Gaza civilians. You guys are for the death of Gaza civilians. There's people like me who want an end to this war. You want the continuation. You want a one-state solution with Jews driven into the sea. You know what you want? Get off! Police! Police protect the fascists! Police protect the fascists! Look, he thinks he's got a right. Death! Death and assault! Oh
yeah. He's blown his whistle going, assault! Bro. Here they are singing Am Israel Chai. God, look how little soul and character there is. Just literally just nothing. It's just people going Am Israel, Am Israel, Am Israel Chai.
This country and profound respect.
Okay, they've uploaded the actual. This is the actual account of "Bring them home now." Let's see what they post. I'm muting that because I don't want to get copyrighted for this shitty pro-Israel music. There's Ephraim Mervis, who's the chief rabbi of the UK, and this guy who has some fucking hostage family, and he's like, yeah, it justifies recognising a Palestinian state means my family are going to be in trouble. Pensioners Day Out, 100%. It's just pensioners who bring their, or people who bring their young kids. Like, the average age is so old. You see such a different thing at the pro-Palestine protests of people of all ages, all different backgrounds, but this is just very clearly like white middle class and a few kind of just deranged other people who are there, or like Jewish middle class. I'm just looking to see what is oh, it least bring them home. But the funny thing is, by the way, is bring them home now posted, expanding the fighting endangers the lives of the hostages and the soldiers. The people of Israel are not willing to risk them. But, like, the vast majority of the people who are there, would literally disagree with this post. Would literally just disagree with this post. Hamas stole their souls, indeed. Tuning in from work, big up Chelsea, indeed, mate. Shout out beating AC Milan 4-1. But kind of soured for a day. I'm just looking through what these accounts actually post. I just want to see if there's...
A terrorist organisation prescribed by the UK government is congratulating the UK government. It means that there is something seriously wrong. And so to our government we turn and we say, how will you ever be able to live with the fact that you would have recognized the Palestinian state at the head of which is a terrorist organisation?
But wait, that's literally not what will happen. Like, this is just lies. Like, this is just the people who they have on stage. It's the chief rabbi of the UK just telling straight up lies.
With a stated intention of destroying the state of Israel and harming Jews right around the world. And all this at a time when the hostages are still languishing in the tunnels of Gaza.
I'm just trying to see if you can see any crazy, like, symbols there, like Israel IOF flags. I can't even see an IOF flag, but genuinely, look at the ages of the people there. Can I zoom in? No, it doesn't let me zoom in. But just look at this, bro. It's like an old... You are right. It's like an OAP meetup.
Gaza, the Labour Party, both in opposition and now in government, has had a mantra. They have continuously been saying to UK jury, don't judge us by our words, judge us by our deeds. And to our government we say, right now, this is the time for responsible action.
Pro-Israel marches look meltable in the sunlight. I mean, yeah, I think that a lot of these people do.
It is not...
I mean, this is just... these are just all lies. These are just all lies. And this is a guy who, like, whose opinion we're meant to take seriously when it's just, like, straight up lies.
Too late. And as for us, Achim Anachnu, we will continue to do whatever we can for the sake of each and every one of the hostages. Am Yisrael Chai!
God, just Jesus Christ. Why did it end with just a cut to this random woman? It's crazy. Crazy. You know, one of the first times I went to London after October the 7th, literally the first thing I saw was just some guy tearing down the hostage posters, like, straight away. Like, literally just straight away. Crazy, crazy stuff. Unbelievable scenes. And I mean, all it's shown is that all they are is just propaganda for Israel. Israel has just used them as propaganda to justify exterminating the Palestinian people. They don't give a fuck about any single Palestinian. No one gives a fuck about these marches. All they care about is just seeing more Palestinians get killed. Oh, and like another important thing to cover is 350 pro-Palestine protesters who held up signs saying, I oppose genocide, I support Palestine action, were arrested this weekend for holding up signs. If this was happening in any other country, they would be telling you, this is a dark day for democracy. We'd hear about how Tehran arrested these poor women for holding up just signs. But yet, you know...
There may be people who are objecting to prescription who don't know the full nature of this organisation because of court restrictions on reporting while serious prosecutions are underway. But it's really important that no one's in any doubt that this is not a non-violent organisation.
By the way, what they claim is violent are like violent attacks on RAF aircraft.
These people who are approaching.
It's just, I'm just trying to... Oh yeah, and by the way, on the same day, this guy, the head of the UKIP party, did a Nazi salute in the street. It's crazy. He was doing Trump dances and doing a Nazi salute. He's like, you can see that's a Nazi suit. He's also wearing a Nazi armband. Like, that's intentional to look like a Nazi armband. And this is just, like, not even news in the UK. Like, this is just mentioned occasionally. And he shared this himself. And this is the same weekend that you're arresting people for, like, for being in support of Palestine action. Like, you're arresting old ladies like this. The UK is a crazy, crazy, crazy place.
Palestine or Gaza, where we had, I think, tens of thousands of people. Prescription is not about protest around Palestine or Gaza, where we had, I think, tens of thousands of people protesting lawfully just this weekend about some of the horrendous events that we've seen in the Middle East. Instead, prescription is about one narrow group that has been involved in violent attacks, including injuries, including weapons, smoke bombs causing panic among innocent people.
Smoke bombs causing innocent panic amongst innocent people.
Major criminal damage against national security infrastructure, and where there's been clear security assessments and advice.
Advice on the basis of what the Israeli government wants. By the way, this is just like a 60-plus-year-old blind man being arrested for holding up a sign saying, I oppose genocide, I support Palestine action. That's what you get arrested for these days in the UK.
There may be people who are objecting to prescription who don't know the full nature of this organisation because of court restrictions on reporting while serious prosecutions are underway. But it's really important that no one's in any doubt that this is not a non-violent organisation.
That's the Home Secretary just going on and on. You would think that this is like, you know, the most barbaric, violent organisation in the world. That what they do is just like heinous. And what do they actually do? They are literally just like targeting Israeli businesses, people associated with it. And by the way, as I've said before, the number is actually 474 people. The reason Palestine Action was banned and the marches are allowed to go ahead regularly is because the normal marches are literally just like not threatening to the UK government. They don't actually impact the genocide in preventing it. And that's not to diminish them. I think people should march. And obviously not everyone, like myself, is willing to sacrifice their freedom to, you know, support Palestine action. And I think that, like, that's okay. That's okay that people don't necessarily do it. But the reason, and Palestine Action never shamed people for doing this, but Palestine Action, right, were an organisation that threatened the Israeli killing machine. So yeah, does anyone know where Trump sent the National Guard? Yes, he sent it into Washington, D.C. ostensibly, so we'll cover that in a second.
You also can't...
I just want to pull up a video. I just want to pull this down. Like, these people... Like, you know, I could go on the news today and I could advocate for starving the Palestinian people by saying there's no famine going on, whilst, like, every expert in the world does. And that's okay, legally speaking, to do that kind of genocide denialism. But, yeah... Just arresting all elderly people who can barely walk. Like, this is just what the UK has come down to. That's the sign. This sign is illegal in the UK, by the way. Illegal in the UK, by the way.
Being arrested for holding a piece of paper. You are, which shows support for a terrorist. Being arrested
for a terrorist organisation. You'd think that they were there with, like, Al-Qaeda flags and, like, establish the caliphate, you know? Or, like, you know, just supporting, like, the most insane things. But, like, they're literally supporting non-violent action against non-violent action taken against the state of Israel, and actions to target Israeli weapons factories. And they go Jewish-owned business. They say Jewish-owned businesses, and the business they're talking about is Elbit Systems that makes quadcopters that play sounds and have guns attached to them. Don't forget, kids, ACAB, indeed. Well, not the people arresting Palestine Action people. These are the great, brave police. Holy shit, my PC might explode. What is going on here?
this is just the start of what will be a much longer string of attacks on the freedom of speech in this country. It will not end here. This is just the beginning, and we cannot accept the principle of outlawing political opponents as terrorists.
Every single arrest I've seen has broken my heart. I have seen people aged 92 years old. I have seen people with walking sticks. I have seen people meditating and being arrested.
This visually impaired, wheelchair-bound man was arrested. Bro, do you not see how insane this is?
Recognise Israel's right.
Do you not see how insane this is? Like that. This is just what goes on in the UK. I just want to see if I can find... I'm just looking for another interview that we'll watch after this. Deanne highlighting with the colour feels like Pornhub. Yeah, I see what you mean. All constables are bastards. Those planes are privately owned, by the way, not part of the British RAF. And also, like, the thing is that, like, they say, like, they say that it's like,
idea.
Hold on, I just want to see if I can find this Alex Davies-Jones lady who's talking about it. This is just arresting old blind men who want to stop genocide. You know? Like...
It's absurd that being here with these signs, these really simple and peaceful messages, can now potentially label you a terrorist.
Oh, fuck, this is going to get copyrighted. Motherfucker. Right, I'm just going to have to stop watching this because it's going to get copyrighted. I forget that they all have these, like, fucking jingles. Now, right, there's another one that I wanted to watch, which is this. We'll just stick this on. Because this is insane.
We talk about now the events of this past weekend in the capital here in London. Huge protest.
This lady is in the left-wing party, by the way, the former Socialist Labour Party.
In support of a prescribed terrorist organisation, Palestine Action. Over 500 arrests made, more since the poll tax riots of many, many years ago. So it was a big deal. Many of the protesters were previously had no convictions. They hadn't been arrested before. Many of them in their 60s, 70s. I think the oldest to be arrested was 89, because what they were doing was saying, one, they were against genocide. There's nothing to stop them saying that. But two, they supported Palestine.
She's a Labour politician. Foundation mismatch, and she's a Labour politician.
Action, which is a prescribed terrorist group. Has the government got a bit of a tiger by the tail here in prescribing Palestine Action when you see that kind of protest by that kind of person?
We don't support terrorists in the United Kingdom, Richard. Would you be asking me that if this was about the IRA or Hamas? Palestine Action are a prescribed terrorist organisation. And as we have seen, there are legitimate peaceful protests going on, opposing genocide, as you've said, opposing the horrific scenes that we're seeing in Gaza. And, you know, there are protests in support of releasing the remaining hostages being held in Gaza as well.
By the way, those protests at which they fly IDF flags, so...
All of this being done peacefully. However, Palestine Action are not a peaceful organisation. They are a violent terrorist organisation who have committed criminal damage to RAF aircraft. There are reports of them targeting Jewish-owned businesses here in the United Kingdom, and there are other undisclosed reasons for which I can't go into because of national security.
Reasons that we can't know. Reasons that we can't know. Yeah, they've been doing heinous stuff.
As to why exactly they have been prescribed. However, I would just say that anyone who is supporting a terrorist organisation, then I would urge them to think again, because action will be taken, because no one is above the law.
Well, you make a comparison with the IRA and with Hamas. Of course, you could say the difference here is that the IRA planted multiple bombs. They operated with snipers. They were a very deadly force in these islands. And Hamas, of course, is responsible for what happened on October the 7th, which was a pogrom.
A pogrom? I've never heard a pogrom called a pogrom. A pogrom. And also, by the way, come on. Like, Israel's the one doing pogroms. Like, that's an inappropriate word to use in the context of Palestine. Like, the only context where it's appropriate is what Israel does in the West Bank to Palestinians.
I guess what I'm suggesting to you, and I'm not implying an opinion myself, is that Palestine action, whereas it may have done, as you say, some collateral damage to machinery by spraying it with paint, isn't quite in the same league.
That's violent criminal damage.
That's violent criminal damage to RAF aircraft. That's violent. They've sprayed the planes. It's just like when those damned Palestinians went up to the border fence and they hurt that damned fence.
Craft, of which is a national security measure. These are a prescribed terrorist organisation, Richard, and we do not support terrorists in this country.
These are a prescribed terrorist organisation, and we don't support terrorists in this country.
There are credible reports of them also targeting Jewish-owned businesses here.
Jewish-owned businesses!
As well as I've said, other reasons for which we cannot disclose. But I would just urge anyone who wants to show support for Palestine, and there are thousands of people doing so peacefully, and I implore those people to do so. But those who are supporting a prescribed terrorist organisation, I would just urge them to think again.
I don't know whether you saw our interview with the family of Harvey Wilgoose, Caroline, the mum, and sister Sophie, who the verdict...
Vous plead comme nous. She's such a broken record. Oh, all these people are broken records. These people are insane. Like, this is just like... They're just like, yeah, the Palestine Action are like an evil terrorist organisation who we should basically believe that Palestine Action should, you know... they should all go to prison. But, like, let's listen to Nadia Whitmore.
It's important to remember that this prescription would not just affect members of Palestine Action, but anyone who supports them. Donating to a fundraiser or posting positively about the group on social media would mean committing a crime. We risk criminalising huge numbers of our own constituents. It's important to remember...
It's just so ridiculous. You're arresting hundreds of people for what? Because they attacked Jewish-owned businesses? You just say that? Like, what? It's just so stupid. It's just genuinely so stupid. Like, this is the kind of shit that's going on in the UK. Like, just being told, yeah. Who are the victims that victims minister is worried about? Doesn't seem as concerned about right-wing mobs. Oh, 100%. They don't give a fuck because this is just done at the behest of a foreign government who doesn't want serious protest in this country. Palestine Action was a growing and increasingly popular move because as people felt that they had no way to react to the genocide, Palestine Action did something. And increasingly, a lot of people felt very disaffected, very upset about what was happening, and so they channeled their energies through taking non-violent direct actions against the Israeli killing machine, which had effect, which prevented weaponry going to the Israeli state. And so what did the British government do? Yeah, we'll ban that, because, you know. And here's another one. This is...
Criminal nuisance, criminal security breaches, criminal damage are very serious offences, and those responsible get prosecuted and some go to prison. But to turn a whole movement into a terrorist organisation is quite another matter. And this has never been done before to a direct action protest organisation as opposed...
Like, the Palestine Action stuff is... The UN warned us about this. The UN warned us that this is like, you know, this is dangerous. This is dangerous shit, which is eroding British freedoms in this country. And it so obviously is, but of course, like, they could do it just because they're the fucking Labour Party, and that's just okay.
To Al-Qaeda or other outfits that are out to destroy people's lives. Criminal nuisance.
And also just like how stupid this is. Like, it's just losing support for the British, like, for the Labour Party. Like, how shitty is the Labour Party? And like, this is just what the UK government is, like, just doing utter stupid shit. Like, there's just unpopular, pointless, just at the behest of supporting Israel. I know the video is just very quiet. The video is just very quiet. Like, what the fuck can we even do about this? Is there something we can do to shout louder than these idiots? What do you mean, shout louder than these idiots? Who are you speaking about specifically there, Sarah? But, like, yeah, just, like, we're at a point where, like, just also, like, look, just don't trust liberals, don't trust anyone that gives Zionism an inch. It is not a politics that you should be accepting of. It is not a politics that you should justify or say is moral and acceptable. And so, yeah, I don't know. I'm just trying to see if I can find the video of Trump.
To announcing a historic action to rescue our nation's capital from crime, bloodshed, bedlam, and squalor, and worse. This is Liberation Day.
This is crazy, by the way.
In D.C., and we're going to take our capital back. We're taking it back under the authorities vested in me as the President of the United States. I'm officially invoking Section 740 of the District of Columbia Home Rule Act. You know what that is? And placing the D.C. Metropolitan Police Department under direct federal control, and you'll be meeting the people that will be directly involved with that. Very good people, but they're tough.
Apparently, this is the Times, right? So the Times is saying that violent crime is falling in, that violent crime is falling. But someone also pointed out, this guy, these are the real violent criminals associated with Jeffrey Epstein.
And they know what's happening. They've done it before. In addition, I'm deploying the National Guard to help reestablish law, order, and public safety in Washington, D.C., and they're going to be allowed to do their job properly. I'm announcing.
I mean, by the way, I know I showed you that video of someone made this point quite well. Look at this. The UKIP leader doing the Trump dance into a fucking Nazi salute. I can't remember who said this, but when fascism comes to power, they wouldn't be wearing jack boots and stuff again. Jan Werner Muller writes a lot about this. What has distinguished fascists historically has been their glorification of violent struggle and martial... they have promoted strict gender, national and racial hierarchies in which with races in particular assumed to be locked in permanent and deadly conflict. That's a Nazi thing, I'd say, more than anything else. I'm getting a South Korea vibe. I mean, I think that the thing ultimately is that, like, the UK this government is moving towards fascism, but it was happening under Biden, deploying, like, police forces and allowing mobs of right-wing Zionists to go and attack Palestinian protesters is fascistic. It's a tactic that it probably first didn't come there, but has increasingly been deployed by authoritarian governments in the Middle East. Quite often, I think it's in Bahrain, the regime there incited, I think predominantly Bangladeshi or South Asian migrant workers. They incited them against Shia Muslims to go and, like, attack them with, like, swords and clubs and shit, and, like, just allowed it to happen. And the UK government tried this. Suella Braverman hyped up when we had Remembrance Day. She hyped it up, and she was like, yeah, this is, like, they're gonna attack things. And she fanned the flames of, like, a right-wing attack on pro-Palestinian protesters. These are the things that they tried to do. These are the things that these people are trying to do. You know? These are the things that they want to do in the Gaza Strip. Sorry, in the Gaza Strip. I mean, they're doing it in the Gaza Strip. It's what they want to do everywhere.
But
like, so Trump is deploying... But like, you know, do you remember when there was the stuff going on in LA previously? I don't know if you all remember that. There were like anti-ICE protests in LA. Trump tried to deploy the National Guard, and even the fucking corrupt as fuck LAPD, who are incredibly corrupt and useless, were saying, yeah, we actually have the protests under control. It's really only 2 blocks that are causing problems, like in terms of the size of the protests and what we can't control. But we certainly don't need the National Guard. He just deployed them for the sake of it. Trump is going to deploy them, and there's just going to be increasing uses of force, and probably people will get killed, and then the protests will get bigger and bigger and bigger, and Trump will try and use this as a means to bring in even more, you know, to bring in even more force. Oh, and apparently they're looking at reclassifying cannabis. Jesus. Wow, interesting. That's kind of crazy.
Terrorist.
Oh yeah, also, by the way, there's some more of this interview with this woman.
You will be aware, Wilf, and hopefully your viewers will be aware that there are reasons related to national security as to why we can't fully disclose the reasons as to why they have been a prescribed terrorist organisation. However, we have got the credible evidence that we have been able to make public about their violent criminal damage. As you've said, millions in costs to an RAF aircraft. We have got reports of them targeting Jewish-owned businesses, as well as links to hostile state actors. So it's important that we recognise here that the government took the action it did in order to protect the public.
Just listen to this. The world we're living in. Of course, what Trump is doing is more authoritarian, like directly. Trump is someone who's more nakedly authoritarian. But Starmer is too. All of these people are fucking authoritarians. Increasingly repressive of their population. Increasingly oppressive of their populations. Increasingly using fascist tactics.
And, you know, when you take a look at numbers, I just saw some charts. These are different cities throughout the world. Red is, okay, the red is a place called Washington, D.C. Look at these. Baghdad we doubled up on Baghdad. Panama City.
It's also important to note that this is probably linked to his disdain for homeless people more than anything. Yeah, I mean, these people want someone else. Homeless people, I guess, I don't know how much of an increase there's been in homelessness since like the 80s and stuff, but, oh actually, you know what, that's probably an easy... So apparently there was somewhere between 200 and 500,000 homeless people in America in the 1980s. But perhaps it was the existence of the Soviet Union. Hold on. Perhaps it was the existence of the Soviet Union and the fact that the Soviet Union offered some support to their population, and homelessness generally wasn't a problem in places like East Germany, that kind of forced Western governments not to talk about it in this kind of way. But the truth is it's just another other to blame. Blame them as like criminal scum who are on the streets because by their own choice, rather than an indication of, you know, growing of just increasing house prices and depressed wages and nothing to do, no work to be found, increasing drug problems because of, you know, the stresses of capitalism and all of these things, and how easy it is just for your life to collapse and such. But like, yeah, I mean, just blaming someone... I always talk about this. Blaming some exoticized foreign other who is different to you is just, yeah.
Brasilia, San Jose, Costa Rica, Bogota, Colombia, heavy drugs.
Heavy drugs!
Mexico City, I mentioned, Lima, Peru.
Homelessness also serves as a warning to people to keep on the ground. Exactly. I think that you're actually correct about that people know that you could fall into this heinous situation so quickly if, you know, you're not working, if you're not paying your bills and stuff. I guess so many Americans are locked into crippling debt as well.
All double and triple what they are. So do you want to live in places like that? I don't think so. And I think the people in this room If you wrote correctly, you'd see, look at the kind of numbers we have. DC, 41.
So funny that they've got the actual statistics here and they don't... But the statistics don't matter. Hold on. Facts don't care about your feelings. Facts only care about your feelings. I'm drinking water because I had a zin in.
Per 100,000. Number one that we can find anywhere in the world. Other cities are pretty bad, but they're not as bad as that. Is that where you want to live? The reporters of the world? Juvenile offenders and crimes against persons, as they say. It's getting worse. Not getting better, it's getting worse. And we had a recent indication. There was a story about a man who was just left. He quit because he was asked to do phony numbers on crime. And we're going to look into
it.
To that, I think Pam is going to be looking into that. But he was asked by the city, I guess, that we don't want to show the real numbers.
I mean, look, cannabis has its problems. Cannabis definitely has its problems, and using it all the time causes you issues, and I think it's a way to flee from problems, and I don't think there's a problem with discussing that. But at the same time, it just doesn't need to be criminalized. It genuinely does not need to be criminalized.
Let me do numbers so it looks like it's going down. Not going down.
It's funny as well, just thinking about talking about that I can say, like, this drug should be decriminalized, but I cannot say that Palestine Action should be deprescribed, and that Palestine Action, like, I support the legalization of drugs is an okay thing to say, but saying that you support Palestine Action is literally fucking illegal.
And under Biden, it was a disaster, and nobody did anything about it. We're going to do things about it like you wouldn't believe. Every American has a constitutional right to be able to access and petition their government in safety.
So are they just going to send all the homeless to Alligator Alcatraz?
And countless federal officials and employees likewise have the right to carry out their jobs in peace without being shot. As you know, I lost a very good person.
Yeah, I mean, it's not really fair to talk about Biden this much, because Biden Biden can't respond. He's someone suffering, and soon Trump will be that way.
Crystal clear. Crime in D.C. is ending, and ending today.
Crime is ending. Brilliant news.
We are going to use every power we have to fight criminals here. President, thank you for caring about our capital. Families come here every summer. Our museums are free. We have the National Zoo.
Okay, bro.
We have the National Gallery. DC should be a place where everyone can come and feel safe. Behind me and to my side, we have some of the best career law enforcement and prosecutors in the country who are ready to take this on. As the president said, Terry Cole is going to be supervising the Metro Police Department. Gadi Serralta, our U.S. Marshal, is going to be supervising command and control, the entire operation. Our Deputy Attorney General, Todd Blanche, and I will be working with them closely, along with our great FBI Director, Kash Patel. Kash is going to talk to you in a minute about what we did in Virginia recently with Governor Youngkin. Many of you covered that, and it was tremendously successful. Not only that, our secret weapon here in D.C. is U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro, one of the toughest prosecutors and a former judge, and she is going to be talking about juvenile crime, how it's out of control here, and what she's going to do to fight back. No more.
The jackbooted thugs are here to keep us safe. Oh, 100%, 100%. Like, these people are ostensibly going to keep you safe. Someone who can't keep his hands off young women. This guy who's like just an insane degenerate racist. I mean, they're all insane degenerate racists, but like, really saving the world. Brilliant news.
No more crime rampant in our beautiful capital. No more teenage girls beating a disabled man to death. No more of that. No more drive-bys. We're going to do everything we can. And working with the ATF Director Driscoll and Commander of the Army, we're going to all work together. That's what we all do in this room. We work together. We fight. Do not underestimate one person.
I wonder if also that some of this is about pulling American troops out of the Middle East and retreating more from places like Africa, you know, and like generally just the Middle East, and like retreating from them in favor of just like deploying troops at home and acting like they actually do something here. But like, what the fuck are they going to do? Just be like arresting masses of people? Maybe they'll be applying some of those brutal techniques they learnt to oppress the Afghan and the other populations. Crime equals solved. Racism equals solved. Oh, 100%. It's all solved.
Person in this room. We're going to make DC beautiful. We're going to...
There will always be people doing abhorrent and barbarous shit, and you can never, ever, ever stop that. The best that you can do is try and reduce it and ensure that communities and people are protected. But like just saying you're going to end it, that's not going to work. No human... Every president ever has tried to make promises like that, and they've never done it because it's not possible. It's part of capitalist society. If you have a society that is about getting one over on other people, it's always going to be a problem. It's part of any society, really, because there'll always be some human beings with an innate drive towards death, destruction, and impressing people through crime.
Make DC safe again. One other thing, just at the wharf a few days ago, the area of the wharf, Terry Cole reached out
the wharf
to me, not even nightfall, on the weekend, where so many families and tourists go. A guy's overdosing from fentanyl on a park bench in the middle of families around. They administer Narcan and saved his life. No more of that.
What? No more administering Narcan?
The President of the United States is going to clean up D.C., and we're going to be there to help him, and we're going to be successful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, everything's going to be amazing, isn't it? The fascist utopia is coming, don't worry. These definitely aren't unassailable problems that cannot be addressed. Nah, with the way we live currently and exist currently. Nah, everything's going to be fine. And here's Kash Patel looks weird as fuck. Like, why is he so small?
Children, and the murder rates are plummeting. We are now able to report that the murder rate is on track to be the lowest in U.S. history, in modern recorded U.S. history. Thanks.
Okay, apparently he's 5'9", so maybe I shouldn't speak so quick. Chris, can you please say some men just want to watch the world burn? I can't really do it. You are only supposed to blow the bloody doors off. How dare you save someone from an overdose? Don't worry, in Trump-perfect America, you will just die from overdoses. Everyone will overdose and die. Welcome to Trump America. Trump's senior moments are getting worse.
That's why they want men playing in women's sports. That's why they want transgender for everybody. Everybody transgender.
She's... wait, when he says it, like, look.
Everybody transgender.
Why does her smile, like, genuinely look like the Joker's? Like, what the fuck? Look at... Pete Hegseth is just loving it.
And they just got walloped in an election, in a landslide, and they haven't changed one thing. I saw the other...
Team Epstein is on the job. It was a fentanyl death, but no, the Dems stole the fentanyl from us. Everybody transgender. That's the perfect future. Everyone will be trans.
And it's embarrassing for me to be up here. You know, I'm going to see Putin. I'm going...
He's saying that they're going to land swap. Like...
Quickly turning in...
Everything computer, everyone transgender. That's what the computer does to our youths. By playing Fortnite, you can become gay.
Into a dud of a story. I would say that this is, from at least a political point of view, quickly turning into a dud.
I'm not sure that this means the public think that the Epstein files are... Google searches for Epstein are down 89% from just 3 weeks ago.
In D.C. Is D.C. safe, number one? And then number two, do you support this move by President Trump?
Also, people talk about London like this, and look, I'm not a Londoner, but like I do tend to agree with some of the rhetoric that like this guy had this excellent video where he was like, people are like, oh, London's unsafe, like London's so dangerous, and his argument was actually you just have more social media and more accounts that fan the flames of the danger going on. If you look at London like 15 years ago, fucking hell, there was some crazy shit going on in certain places like fucking Peckham and Hackney.
Well, first off, D.C. is not safe. People don't just walk the streets in D.C. and feel safe anywhere around D.C. I mean, I've got to be careful in what I do, but I've got people in my office that are very careful about where they go.
Homelessness is a blight on American society, but the way to address it is not by sending in the army to round them up and then sending them to camps. Are they going to make it a crime to be homeless? I wonder if they actually will. I mean, already it's kind of criminalized. Like, you're not allowed to sleep in your car and shit, are you?
So this is...
I probably won't be streaming that much longer. I'll probably stream for like 15 more minutes because I'm just gonna make tops. I might even go pretty soon, to be honest, because I kind of need to finish the video I made earlier.
Great what Donald Trump is doing. I'm on a bill with Mike Lee that Congress would take this back.
Emily McKenzie, I live in London. Violent crime is down. Lie. Sadiq Khan has done a great job. No, he hasn't. Sadiq Khan has instituted Sharia fucking law in London. You know that. You know that. You're a liar for the liberal Keir Starlin regime.
So the president is doing what Congress should be doing. We should be taking this back. So I'm very thankful. Guess what?
Look, I've spoken about this before. Homelessness needs to be addressed in the UK. It does. Drug taking needs to be addressed in the UK. Like, crime as a result of this needs to be addressed. But the way to do that is not to maintain the current system. It is to build a system that looks after all people.
It's going to be a place where I can tell my grandkids, hey, you want to come here and enjoy the city now. Before, I would have to say, oh, you can come here, but you got to be very careful. You can't be out after dark. You can't go. You got to be careful going to a restaurant or anything after dark. So he's going to change dramatically, DC. It's going to be great.
It is a symbol of national decline and a mockery that our nation's capital is more dangerous than Bogota, Mexico City, Islamabad. Washington, D.C. is more dangerous than Mexico City, Bogota, Islamabad, Lima. I mean, it is...
He's not adding in Baghdad, but like I would highly doubt that it is like a less, like a safer place to be than Baghdad.
It is a disaster. And I think we should give Washington, D.C. to Maryland for a very important reason. It takes off the 51st state conversation, except for the national monuments. I want to dive more into this, but for...
Rick Scott is weird, bro. He looks strange. He looks like a ghoul. He looks like a ghoul from Fallout specifically. But all right, guys. On that beautiful note about a beautiful guy, Rick Scott, I'm going to end the stream here because I'm going to go finish the video about al-Sharif, which I'm going to upload later today. So thank you all for watching. The video should be out later today because it's not that long. But yeah, I'm not streaming any longer because I want to go finish this video. Thank you all for coming. I hope you all have a lovely rest of the evening. But yeah, thank you. al-Sharif, which I'm going to upload later today. So thank you all for watching. The video should be out later today because it's not that long. But yeah, I'm not streaming any longer because I want to go finish this video. Thank you all for coming. I hope you all have a lovely rest of the evening. But yeah, thank you.